13 now with the stunning news tied to the Tokyo Olympics that we've been following all morning, Savannah.
Yeah, Shacarri Richardson, the U.S. women's 100-meter champion who dominated at the Olympic trials, has tested positive for marijuana following that race. And this morning, that has put her Olympic future in doubt. Shacarri's going to be with us for an exclusive live interview just ahead.
But first, more on Richardson's remarkable journey that's drawn her comparisons to the legendary FloJo and what could be a stunning disappointment for an athlete who's won the hearts of millions. With a blazing time and standout style, Shacarri Richardson recently punched her ticket to Tokyo.
Richardson's going to Tokyo!
Unbelievable. The fact that I am an Olympian, no matter what is said or anything, I am an Olympian.
At the Olympic trials, the 21-year-old Dallas native won the 100-meter dash in a blazing 10.86 seconds, making her the fastest woman in America. But now it appears her Olympic dreams may have been put on hold. A U.S. Olympic source telling NBC News she failed a drug test after her finals win, testing positive for THC, the chemical found in marijuana. According to her lawyers, Shacarri has been suspended from the Olympic team, and her failed test may cause her to lose her spot on Team USA entirely. Her Olympic trial results were automatically disqualified when she tested positive. That means she won't be allowed to compete in her signature event, the 100 meters. But there appears to be an outside chance she could compete in a different event. What's unclear is whether she will appeal the test results and the disqualification, or how long her suspension will last. NBC News has reached out to the USA Track and Field for official comment. Shacarri captured the hearts of millions when she ran into the stands after her victory and hugged her grandmother just a week after losing her biological mother.
My family has kept me grounded. This year has been crazy for me. Going from just last week, losing my biological mother, and I'm still here.
And after being notified of her failed drug test, Richardson tweeted yesterday, "I am human." Savannah. Chanel, thank you. And Shacarri Richardson joins us now. Good morning, Shacarri. I just want to ask a simple question first. How are you doing?
I'm blessed to be alive. That's about it.
This is not easy. This is a hard moment that you're in right now. And I thank you for being on. And I know you wanted to tell your story. So tell me, what happened? What led up to this positive test?
Just honestly, I want to take responsibility for my actions. I know what I did. I know what I'm supposed to do. I'm allowed not to do, and I still made that decision. But not making an excuse or looking for any empathy in my case, but just, however, being in that position of my life, finding out something like that, something that I would say is probably one of the biggest things that have impacted me positively and negatively in my life when it comes to dealing with the relationship I have with my mother. So that definitely was a very heavy topic on me, and people don't understand what it's like to have to, or people do. We all have our different struggles, we all have our different things to deal with, but to put on a face, I have to go in front of the world and put on a face and hide my pain. I don't know, who are you, or who am I to tell you how to cope when you're dealing with a pain, or you're dealing with a struggle that you've never experienced before, or that you never thought you would have to deal with. Like, who am I to tell you how to cope? Who am I to tell you that you're wrong for hurting? So I think just honestly, just leading up to that, dealing with my mental health, dealing with my mental as is, leading up to the games, every time stepping on the track, definitely expected to be a record-breaking time or something like that. So just with that, pressure in itself was also just another thing. With this actually been my first full professional career, my first full professional start year this year due to the pandemic. So just considering all of that put together, a long time, my agent, my sponsor, my sponsorship, my family, knowing we did all of this stuff. So,
Shacarri, I just want people to understand where you're coming from, and tell me if this is correct, but it was a few days before your big race and the trials, you found out that your biological mother had passed away. You found out when a reporter told you, and it was after that you had ingested some kind of marijuana. I should mention, you were in Oregon. It's legal in Oregon. You didn't violate any law, but it was against the rules of your sport, and as you said, you knew that. But is that what happened? Is that how this unfolded?
Honestly, yes, that is the story. I had an interview scheduled with my agent. I knew I was having an interview. I knew going into the interview, I was just thinking it would be a normal interview, and then on the interview to hear that information come from a complete stranger was definitely triggering, was definitely nerve shocking, because it's just like, how are you to tell me that? It's like, and no offense against him at all. He's just doing his job, but definitely that sent me in a state of mind, in a state of emotional panic, if anything. And still knowing that I still, even though I'm here, I still have to go out and put on a performance for my dream, go out there and still compete.
All right, let's talk about it. First of all, salute to Shacarri Richardson. I'm hoping that I'm saying her name correctly. That's the AC ranking, so don't mind the AC, just listen to what I'm about to say. There's going to be some people that totally agree with what I'm saying, and some people's going to be appalled at what I'm about to say. Check this out. Salute to this young lady and her accomplishments. Definitely something to be applauded, definitely something to be appreciated and to be promoted and uplifted. Salute, salute, salute. Here's my issue. My issue is that there are not a lot of people who get a platform for achievement, especially doing something positive. Now, to become an Olympian, you obviously have to be an elite type person, an elite type athlete. She has broken all these records. She's worked hard. She's done all these things. And my thing about it is, this is where you start trying to ask yourself about her support system. Somebody should be telling her or been giving her support. You knew that her biological mother died. You knew that she's now on the national stage. She's getting ready to try out for Tokyo to go to the Olympics and all that great stuff or whatever. Where was the support system at? And this is not to alleviate her from any responsibility. My thought process is we rally the troops and we start screaming about racism and we start doing all this other stuff. What we don't do is we say, well, it's great that you take responsibility, but here's the thing. Does taking responsibility alleviate the thought process of you can lose everything? Everything that you worked hard for, everything that you were striving for, your goals, you can lose everything to smoke weed. Now, here's the thought process, because I've heard a lot of commentary. I agree with some of it I don't agree because I think it's BS. But the fact of the matter is, this girl was smoking weed before her mom passed away. That was just another coping mechanism. But the fact of the matter is, she didn't start smoking weed because her biological mom passed away. She was already smoking weed. And like she said, hey, I knew what I was doing. I knew it was wrong, and I knew what the consequences was. That's what we as people, not just black people, but we as people need to understand. If you know something is wrong and you continue to do it, you're putting everything on the line. And when you put everything on the line, you can't say, well, that's racism if you get caught. You can't say that that's somebody else's fault when you get caught. And I think that there's a lot of people, instead of listening to what she said, hey, I take full responsibility. Cool. Stay in that responsibility. Stay strong, stay in that responsibility, and work harder next time. Because everybody that's around you, that's eating off your plate, eating off your name, right? That's saying, that's my girl, that's my sister, that's my whatever. They should be supporting you. They know that you are on the national stage. They know that you are, dude, let's just be honest. When we have our black Olympians or whatever the case may be, it's bigger than just oh yeah, okay, this is just a young lady running or whatever case may be. It's bigger than that. And you have a lot of, it's like Muhammad Ali. You know what I'm saying? And of all the other black Olympians that came before you, it's bigger than just you now. And you got to understand that what you're doing is bigger than you. And again, it's a lot of pressure. You know, somebody that's had their mom pass away or whatever, it's a lot of pressure on you. It's a lot of things that you have to do. You know what I'm saying? But I just wish that her support system was better. And I think that this right here is a failure of support system. And it's also a failure to realize the importance of what you represent. You're not only representing yourself, Ms. Richardson, you're representing all of the young ladies that's watching you. Because I'm going to be honest with you, I've never seen a female in the Olympics with blonde, a black girl with blonde hair and blue hair. And I me personally, I was like, what in the heck? So she represented a lot of trendy, fashionable young women out there that said, you know what, wow, I can even do that. She was a beacon of hope. Well, she's still a beacon of hope. She's an example of what could be, the possibilities of. But again, she's also an example of not knowing the bigger picture. It's great to take accountability. Salute, salute, salute. But the thought process is this. While you're smoking that weed, you're risking everything. You're risking everything, and for what? For what? You know, you try not to be too tough on people when you're giving them tough love or whatever the case may be. But at some point in time, you gotta ask yourself, man, it's like this. If I know I'm gonna lose my job, because her being an athlete, her being an Olympian, that's her job. If you lose your job and how you support yourself, whether it's you, whether it's your family members, your children, your friends, whoever you support, when you lose your job, those same people that surround you, they may or may not be there for you. You gotta hold yourself accountable to the point where you gotta ask yourself, man, is this really worth it? I don't want to hear that you knew it was wrong. I don't want to hear that, because to me, your mother dying should have amplified you. You know, and again, no one can tell you how to deal with grief or how to get over grief. But when I say amplify, that means to showcase that you're really on a mission. That God has blessed you with something special, and He's really pushing the narrative forward in reference to seeing you achieve the greatest thing you probably could have did. You know what I'm saying? Was to stay focused. We all know that weed is not a performance enhancer. We know that nobody's running faster because of weed, and we get all that. But to turn the situation and say, oh, it's racism. Bro, I gotta be careful when y'all just throwing stuff out there or whatever case may be. It's a zero tolerance. It don't say it's a zero tolerance just for black people. No, it's a zero tolerance period. And for you to know that, you're risking everything when you have so much on the line, and you gotta ask yourself, what's really worth it? Is it really worth it? And at the end of the day, it's not. And for people to attack this and say, well, it's racism. They wouldn't be doing it if she was a white girl. They wouldn't be doing it if she was a white boy. But the thought of, I mean, then they do Michael Phelps the same way, and he smoked weed. And then Michael Phelps the same way. But we picking and choosing when to throw racism out. And I'm telling you, man, you lose validity behind because she smokes some weed or whatever. But here's the thing, you know what's going to happen. So why do it? Why risk it? Why risk it? It's like for some reason we choose to deflect. It's like if she's not going to deflect and say, hey, I take full responsibility. Cool. Your publicist, your coach, hey, your grandma, everybody say, hey, look, don't go up there making no excuses. You're on a national stage. You know, you got to say, hey, this is what you got to say. And of course, she's owning up to it. And we appreciate that. The thing about it is, it's about accountability, you know what I'm saying? And not just for athletes, but across the board. It's like a lot of people, for some reason, instead of holding a person accountable, we make excuses for them. She did not say, not one time, I started smoking weed because my mother passed away. She didn't say that. She said, hey, no one can tell you how to cope. And she's right to say that. No one can tell you how to cope. But the situation is just like this. And I'm about to get up out of here, whatever case may be. I'm hoping you guys enjoying your day. But it's like this. When you get an opportunity to continue your success, at a higher level or to compete at a higher level. You got to understand, all eyes are on you. So it doesn't matter just about weed. It's your actions. It's your actions. Do you carry yourself a certain type of way? And it's great that you can get out there. How do weed stop or harm your career? Well, here's the thing. If your job, which her being an Olympian, her competing at a high level on a national stage, that's her job. And if the job say you can't come to work high, then you can't come to work high. There's a zero tolerance. But again, she said, hey, I knew what I did was wrong and I knew the consequences. Well, if you know the consequences, we can't, as black people, say, well, they only doing that to you, girl, because you're racist. No, she knew what the consequences was. You see what I'm saying? And that's what I'm saying. You lose validity in the argument when you say, well, they only did it because she's racist. Well, the policy was already in place way back when Michael Phillips did the same thing. And I think they took some medals from him, or they didn't allow him to compete. But either way it goes, it wasn't like she got busted for smoking weed and then all of a sudden they made up a policy. The policy was in place before she got busted, which she knew. But my issue is that people are saying, well, let's rally, let's boycott the Olympics. Boycott the Olympics because she decided to smoke weed and she knew it was wrong. I'm just saying, stop the Olympics. If you black, don't run, don't jog, wrestle, don't do nothing in the Olympics. I think that's just sending the wrong message, especially to black Americans and to America in general. Some people will say, hey, the hell with it, so what, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But you got to ask yourself, man, accountability is important at this particular time. And if she's taking accountability for her actions, we should take accountability for our actions and how we support that young lady and say, hey, listen, we appreciate you taking accountability. You know what I'm saying? And give her a little tough love. Say, hey, look, the next time that you're on the national stage and you're doing something, let's try to find another way to cope. But again, does she have a support system that actually helps her? That's the real question. Do she have people around her that's actually helping her? Or are they just feeding off of her name and her fame? Because I believe that's what it is. I believe that's exactly what it is. Feeding off of her name and her fame. We're going to eat off of you. We're not going to worry about the fact that you might be stressed out. We're not going to go get you somebody to talk to. And I think that's the problem, man. We get help too late. We get help too late. She gonna self-medicate. But again, me personally, she did not say I started smoking weed when my biological mother died. She was already smoking weed. But I just think it's crazy to yell and scream about racism as if someone made a policy after she got caught so that way they can hem her up. No, the policy was already in place. That's what I'm saying. Be realistic. Be realistic, because when you call for the big bad wolf, you say, hey, that's the big bad wolf. This is the issue. Everybody focusing on something it's really not the case at all. This ain't about racism. This is about having responsibility. This is about taking accountability, and she's taking accountability. Cool, great, whatever. If you got to sit out for a month or whatever the case may be, okay, got it. But now we're trying to make it something else. Well, we're going to scream racism, bro. We got enough crap that's going on right now that clearly showcases racism. That clearly you can point to and say that's racism. But instead of focusing on the things that are clear, we want to focus on something where someone decided that this is something I want to do. That is something she wanted to do, something she decided to do. And now we're taking that and saying, well, it's racism. It's another racist fault that she decided to smoke weed. If that's what you want to teach your kids, it's cool. Teach your kids. If that's what you want to say, hey, let's deflect and not reflect, cool. But then that means it takes away from her saying, I'm accountable for my actions. I'm responsible for what I've done. Well, if she's saying she's responsible, how can we hold another race of people or another gender responsible for what she did? Let her live in her truth. Let her have her 5 minutes to say, that's on me. That's on me. If we do anything other than keep the focus on her, then we wrong. Then we're doing her an injustice. That's not what black athletes need. It's not what black people need. If you're going to scream something about racism, let it be about racism, not a policy that is general across the board. Let it be about racism. Let it be a clear sign of racism. But this is not a clear sign of racism. Unless a white person gave her the weed, recorded her while she took the weed, administered her the test, then when the test came back positive, took it and said, look what she did. Then we probably can say, yeah, that was some underhanded shit. But that's not the case. Everything can't be about racism. Everything can't be about black and white. Everything can't be about not holding people accountable. Hold her accountable. As she stated, I am accountable for my actions. And if you are accountable for your actions, I applaud you. I salute you. Thank you for standing in your truth. But let's stop trying to make this a situation between black people and white people, or whatever the case may be. Obviously, it don't matter who she was racing, black, white, Chinese, or green, she was fast. Now, if you want to say, hey, the weed enhanced her some type of way, listen, I used to run track. I don't know nobody that said, bro, I need to smoke this weed, and then I could run faster. Then I could be fast. I don't know anybody like that. Now, again, they look at it, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna get to these comments in 1 second. They looked at the situation and said, hey, look, you know, we know it's not a performance enhancer, but, you know, smoking weed is just like smoking crack or using cocaine. None of that. We ain't having none of that. It's a zero tolerance. Just like in the military, there's a zero tolerance for using drugs. So it don't matter what color you are. It don't matter what your credit score is, who your mama is, your daddy is. What matters is you don't abuse those substances. And once you do, there's consequences. And right now, there's consequences. So, I mean, I think it's important that we look at the situation and say, okay, well, hey, you know, if there's consequences, then there's consequences. But we can't make excuses for it. We can't make excuses for it. For some reason, people are sitting back saying, oh, well, it ain't her fault. Cocaine is an enhancer. Yeah, but how long are you going to run on that cocaine, though? In the blistering heat. You might run fast, but when you get to that finish line, it's going to be the end of your lifeline. Let me get to some of these comments before I get up out of here. Hold on. I feel like they're coming down so hard on her because she's amazing at what she does. Let me finish reading. Racism comes in all sorts of ways, and this is one of them. So here's the thing. This is what I did before I even came to you guys, because I want to be fair and impartial. I try to be as fair and impartial. If they would have done the ruling in regards to a zero tolerance for drugs after she got caught, then I would be like, well, why did y'all wait until she got caught to issue some type of punishment? That's not the case. The ruling, I'm sorry, the rule of thumb was already in place before she started taking drugs. She said herself, which I played, that I knew that doing this was wrong. I knew the consequences. So if you know the consequences and the rulings, the rule is already in place, what am I to say? How can I now say it's racism? This is what I noticed a lot of people are not doing. Because I know for a fact Michael Phelps got caught up. And I think the other track runner, I think she was taking steroids. Maria, I think her name was Maria, African-American female. She was like real fast too. I don't remember what drug she was using. I don't know if it was steroids or weed or whatever the case may be. But all of these same people that I'm talking about got suspended. Now, I don't know if it was an in-depth type thing, but I know they had to sit out a couple of races or whatever the case may be. But my thought process is, I don't see the racism part. I don't see where they're extra hard on her and not anybody else. Everyone that I've seen, because here's the thing about, especially about the media. and especially if you're good. So whether you black, white, or whatever, because Michael Phelps was at the top of his game when he got caught up for smoking weed. And he had to do the whole public apology and go to counseling and all this other stuff, which is the same stuff that happened to her. But no one screamed racism when Michael Phelps got caught up. Not one person. No white person, Hispanic person, no black person. Nobody said it was racism when Michael Phelps got caught up. Nobody said it. But now we're saying it's racism because the black woman gets caught up. I want to see things happen fair and impartial just like everybody else. But we got to be fair and impartial. We got to be realistic. We got to be realistic. And I'm going to be honest with you. I don't think we being realistic. I think that it's easy to say racism. It's easy to say racism. It's easy to point the finger and say it's somebody else that's the bad guy. But my thought process is if the rule was in place before she got caught, then it's not racism. It's not racism. It's somebody being held accountable for actions they knew that was wrong that they shouldn't have took, which is what she said. But some people need some stuff like this so that way they can promote that narrative of racism. They need it. Now, if they would have suspended her indefinitely, if they would have suspended her for a year, if they would have made her pay all types of fines, and nobody else had to do that, then that's a different conversation. That's a different conversation. But I don't know. Let me check and see. Everything is not racism. If you do something wrong, it's wrong. Exactly. That's my thought process. But for some reason, there's so many people that are on social media saying it's racism. Let's boycott the Olympics. No, matter of fact, if you black, you shouldn't even perform in the Olympics. So you want everybody to stop because one person decided they want to smoke weed. Regardless of whatever reason they decided, you want every black person to not be in the Olympics because of this one person who decided to smoke weed. Nobody forced her to do it. Nobody held a gun to her head. I'm not understanding. So you want to, okay. She's saying, I am accountable for my actions. But now you want other people to say, well, if you don't let her run in the Olympics, even though she messed up, then we all going to boycott. Well, good luck with that. Good luck with that. I'm going to be honest with you. Good luck with that. I don't see that happening. And I'm going to be honest with you. If you think that any other race has anything to talk about, that would be something to talk about. Let me tell you this. Imagine me being a white guy, a white woman, whatever, and hear that you know the person you're supporting is wrong, but you decided to elevate the situation, escalate it to the point where even though you've been working on your race, swimming, whatever it is that you've done, you worked all those hours and days and years, you're going to throw it all away because somebody decided to say, I'm smoking weed tonight. That makes sense. That makes you look good as a man, woman, athlete, etc., etc., etc. We got to be mindful of what we rally for. I swear to God, man, some people rally for the craziest things, man. Prior to those, sister, to be honest, I never watched the Olympics other than figure skating, but it is horrible that weed is the downfall for a lot of black people. Men are still in jail, but it's legal. You're right. You're right. And everything that you're saying, you're hitting it right on the head. You know, it's crazy. Hey, look, they have all of these dispensaries right now. You can just walk in. Hey, let me get one of those states where it's legal to smoke. And it's crazy. And they actually said, I think she was in Colorado or something like that, where it's legal to smoke. The fact of the matter is, if you're saying, I want to apply for this job, not only did she apply for the job, she was damn good at the job. She was damn good to the point where she was going to contend for gold. It has to be somebody around her. And this, you know what, this is a great point that you just said about black people and this weed smoking thing. Like, for some reason, like, this is the go all be all in regards to smoking weed. Like, it's just the coolest thing ever. And my thought process is this. if you know what you're doing is not going to allow you to enjoy your pastime, or if it's a hobby for you, or some people, I guess they're professional smokers. If you know that what you're doing is not going to allow you to do it, then don't pick that profession. Just don't pick that profession. If your need, addiction, want is greater than your passion to be successful in that career field, then don't do it. It's just that simple. But when you tiptoe on the line, when you walk with danger, when you say, you know what, this is worth it, this is worth the risk, well, I'm sure she's thinking right now it wasn't worth the risk. I'm sure there's a friend in her life right now that's telling her, I should have did better by you, I should have supported you better, I should have been there for you. I just don't want us to go out here and try to rally the troops when this is not a rally the troop moment. This is a, hey, she messed up, she took accountability. What is it, her consequence? Okay, got it. You know, we'll keep her, hey, keep the spirits up. You know, next time if you need to smoke some weed, call me, we'll go for a run. You know, you probably smoked me. Like, everybody smoked their pants off of me. I'm gonna have to get the truck and race her in the truck. Race this horsepower. This V12. You want to run fast? I'm just saying, man. You know, I mean, everything is not a call to arms. Everything is not a public service announcement. Racism. Everybody, look what they doing. Everything is not racism. And once I'm telling you right now, when you got younger people that are impressionable, that look at you as an adult, especially in this generation, that scream everything is racism, everything's about, you know, the downfall of the white man, and I'm like, bro, like I said, there are some things that are spot on when it comes to racism, and there are other things where there just needs to be realistic conversation, tough love, and also the ability to take accountability. And this is one of those situations. I mean, I don't know what else to tell y'all. If you're a rapper, you can smoke weed 365. Yeah, you gotta run nowhere. You gotta run nowhere. You know, people don't want you to feel like, they don't want to feel like you have a leg up. You know what I'm saying? Now, if weed calms her down and gets her ready for a race and clears her mind, then people are gonna feel like, hey, you know what? You know, this shouldn't be happening. You know, she shouldn't be able to take weed. You know what I'm saying? I mean, my whole thing about it is, I'm gonna be real with you. Me, I really don't personally care if she smoked weed or not. I really don't care. What I care about is when I see other black people like myself talking about racism, and I'm like, well, where's the racism? Where is it? Like, no one's saying, because here's the thing, she has family members, she has coaches, she has, I mean, all these news outlets. Trust me, somebody by now would have been like, oh wait, hold on, you had 15 white people that are also Olympians or whatever, who got caught smoking weed or whatever, and they didn't get that, but nobody's saying that. And I know for a fact, because I was into the whole swimming thing with the Michael Phelps situation, when he got busted with weed, they set his ass down and they sent him to counseling, and I think he had to pay a fine. I'm not too sure, but the fact of the matter is, that's a white male, you know what I'm saying, versus a black female. So, and that was Michael Phelps. I mean, that was kind of, you know, a couple years ago, but again, that policy was in place. It's nothing new. It's a zero tolerance. But for some reason, some people feel like they're above the rules, or they can get away with the rules. And you got to understand, when you're good, Ms. Richardson, I want you to hear me real quick. When you are good at something, okay, there are always going to be people that want to tear you down. So you can't, if you're going to smoke weed, you better smoke it in a cave in the middle of Antarctica by yourself with a blanket. You can't let nobody know. I'm just saying. You thinking people your friends, you thinking people cool, and they gonna let you slide, or the world owe you something. And I'm trying to tell y'all, listen, when you on top of your game and you doing what it is you supposed to be doing, people don't like that. I don't care if you black, white, whatever color you are. People don't like to see you successful living your life. Especially when you're defying the odds. Miss Richardson, you're not supposed to be an Olympian. Can I talk to somebody? You're not supposed to be smoking those girls on that track right now. Huh? You're not supposed to have no blonde hair, blue hair flying down the track. We knew black people was fast, but you showing out. You showing out. And then you not about to go to Tokyo and mess up our made in China stuff because you want to go there and show out. You're going to have Tokyo, China, you're going to have them attack us after you go to the Olympics. They're going to bomb Pearl Harbor. When people see that you are manifesting the things that you really want to accomplish, I want to be an Olympian. She made herself an Olympian. I want to go and run for the gold. She was in a position to do that. I want to defy the odds. She was defying the odds. Once you get somebody in that position, guess what? You have people looking and saying, how can we stop this? Look what's happening. You think they wasn't analyzing her life? You think they wasn't looking at the people around her? Hey, I wonder, was her uncle in jail? I wonder, was her brother a drug dealer? I wonder if she's using drugs or selling. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you black athletes something, okay? Or let me just tell people, when you are doing what it is you say that you want to do in life, you're living your best life in real life. People are looking to put you in the worst conditions. People are looking to bring you down. And the fact of the matter is, I hate to say this, but this is why I know that a lot of people are ignorant. They're ignorant. Because guess what somebody should have been telling that young black woman? Baby girl, there's a microscope on you. I ain't say a magnifying glass. I said a microscope. We are looking at all the small details of your life. And if it don't add up, if the T's ain't crossed and the I's ain't dotted, we coming for that ass. That's what she should have been told. That's what she should have been told. That when you get in trouble, you're not only getting in trouble, every black female that is in the Olympics is getting in trouble. Let me let that breathe for a minute. Let me let it breathe for a minute. It means more. You represent more. You're not just representing yourself, you're representing everyone who looks like you. When you stand out, you have to stand up. What did you expect? What did you expect? You can't be risking it all. Ronnie says, how about we put our own payroll as the Olympic and hold an account? The Olympics is definitely big money. Olympics is definitely big money. You know, definitely big publicity, big money. And I'm gonna be honest with you, that is something that, you know, regardless of what color you are, you know, when I see, you know, the Americans going against all the other countries and all that other stuff, whatever, hey, I'm rooting. And especially when you get somebody, of course, of your race, you know what I'm saying? You're like, oh yeah, you know, I think us trying to tackle the Olympics in reference to making it like a black thing, or, you know, I like the way it is right now. You know what I'm saying? I honestly, you know what I'm saying, wouldn't say I would change the rules in regards to you can't, you know, have any drugs. You know, I think the zero tolerance is a good policy. And I think that if you're not conditioned enough and disciplined enough to say, I'm not going to use drugs, that's a part of being an Olympian. Like, hey, I am an example. I am an elite athlete, and I don't need any type of other substances. But I do believe that, you know, that she needed somebody around her, more people. She knew that, she said that. Yeah, I do believe that, you know what I'm saying, being reminded that you are an example of others, for others. You know what I'm saying? What you're doing is very special. It's very needed. I feel you. I'm not boycotting nothing. I'm not boycotting nothing. You know what I'm saying? You know, I'm not, you know, jumping behind. Again, if she smoked weed and then they came up with this policy after she smoked weed and say, oh, well, we're going to ban you. We're going to show you. We're going to teach you a lesson. But the policy was already in place before she smoked weed, which she said clearly, as I played it earlier, I knew what I was doing. She also said, I'm human. Hey, nobody's knocking you for that. You know? She did something amazing for herself. I love her as a person. You know what, man? Again, I salute her. I wish her the best. I'm sure that this is just going to make her work harder, stay focused, and I'm sure that she's going to be hell on wheels the next time she hit a track. Just to prove she don't need the weed to smoke somebody. She gonna be hell. If y'all thought she was fast before, wait until she hit the track again. So I'm waiting for that day. You know what I'm saying? I'm waiting for that day. But the athlete do not get paid until they make the team. I mean, definitely. And see, here's the thing. That's even more of realism in regards to not getting paid. That's a lot of time, effort, and energy that you have to go and train and practice. That's why I said, why throw it away to smoke weed? You just made a great point. Thank you for pointing that out. Hey, and we ain't getting paid until we actually make the team. Well, here's the thought process. Don't sabotage yourself. A lot of the commentary that I've been hearing is that she blew an opportunity. Well, see, black people have a way. Let me talk to y'all real quick. Come here. Black people have a way of jumping on the bandwagon. Now, of course, we wasn't there lining up, you know, at the start blocks, teaching her, you know what I'm saying, how to keep her head down, keep her stride, run, you know, front to back. We wasn't there for all that. But once they get into position, we have a way of saying, oh yeah, that's our girl right there. That's our girl. And we do that very well. We cheer very loudly. And then we need to let everybody know that's our girl. The issue with that is that when the person messes up, we don't do a good job of saying what it is. We don't do a good job of making sure that we stay focused and stay on task. That we hold the person that's responsible accountable. And this means Miss Richardson is accountable. She is responsible. So we have to do, right? We have to be fair and impartial. We can't make it about something else. And right now, there's a lot of people trying to make the situation about something else. And that just distracts her from being focused on what she needs to do to make sure that she gets back on that track and field and do what she needs to do. Don't make it about racism. It's not about racism. Now, if we peel back the layers of the onion, will we find somebody racist? Probably. It's probably somebody racist somewhere in that mix. But everybody's not racist, right? Everybody's not racist. You know, this is not a conspiracy. This is just something where a young girl decided to do something. I don't even want to say foolish, but she did something off a whim, and it is what it is. Rodney says, next time, just drink a bottle of hen. we won't have to go through that. Definitely. I pray that she will be determined on staying focused moving forward. I bet she will. I bet she's getting undying support from people like you and I that say, hey, stay strong. You know, you are inspiration. You encourage me. You empower me. I guarantee it. This has been a hot topic, you know, that I've seen a lot of people talk about it. But I hate what the Olympics been racist got to do with her smoking weed. Did she say I'm smoking weed because they racist? No. We throw our own narrative in there to try to cover up keeping someone accountable. That's not what we should be doing. That's not what adults do. If we want other people to be held accountable for the messed up stuff that they do, we as black men and women, as black communities, have to hold other black people accountable when they messed up. I ain't say we need to shoot her in the face. I ain't say we need to curse her out. But we need to give her some tough love. And right now, the toughest love that we can give her is, don't do that shit no more. You're making us look bad. Listen, I can't get out there and run now. I probably could, but I'm telling you, shoot, I don't know. I don't think I can run that fast. I don't know. The way my knees be working, this is 20 years of Army. I can skip real good. You need somebody to skip. I'll skip. I'll probably be an Olympic skipper. How about standing still? They got a gold medal for standing still. I'll be standing still. Shit. But I'm just saying, man, you know, I think people have a calling, and God has given them great attributes to go out there and really rally everybody up for positive, to say, hey, this is the Olympics. Go represent. You know, go represent, because it's not just going to be black people cheering for her. People are going to cheer for her that are a part of America and say, go, go, go. You know what I'm saying? And that's a beautiful thing. And that's one of those things where the color of her hair won't matter. The color of her skin won't matter. It's just the fact that at least for that one race, we're rooting for Americans. We're rooting for America. And that's a beautiful thing. That's a beautiful thing to sit down with your children or your significant other and watch America perform. And she represents America. You know, some people take pride in saying, oh, well, she represents black women. She represents black community. But again, she represents America. And she had the biggest smile when she won that last race that I've ever seen, you know, a female athlete do. Like, I was just like, man, I'm proud of her. You know, and since I got daughters and they fast too, you know, they coming for you, Miss Richardson. My daughters, you better put the weed down. You better put the weed down, girl. Yeah, man, but I'm happy for her. You know, I'm happy for her and the rest of those athletes' accomplishments, and I'm hoping that this is a lesson where, you know, people find something else to do besides smoke weed. You know what I'm saying? I'm not knocking people who smoke weed. I'm just saying that there's a time and a place for everything, and it wasn't the time or the place. You know what I'm saying? Let's call things down the middle. You know, she says, I'm accountable, then let's hold her accountable. Let's not make it something that it's not. Let's not make it something that it's not. Those rules are in place for a reason. This young lady just cried out for help on national TV, and we don't see it. I do believe, and that's what I was saying. I know when I lost my mother, I didn't have a lot of people around me to like give me support, and I kind of like just kind of did my own thing, had tunnel vision or whatever case be. I can't imagine having to go in front of cameras, you know, on a national stage and compete and dealing with the death of a mother. So I don't know. You know, I can't tell you. My thought process is this though. You know, that's why, you know, her coaches, her family members, and close friends. That's why it's important to know the person that you're dealing with and that you're around and that you're supporting. I believe that your support system should kick in. You know, the same way she ran off that track and hugged her grandmother or whatever case may be. I believe that type of energy needs to be given to her in order to keep her focused. She's a young black woman. Who knows what she's been through? Who knows what she's been through? She low-key brought all the different communities together just by her being authentically herself. All we can do is love her and support her. Definitely. This is definitely about supporting her by not trying to make the narrative something else. We understand you made a mistake. We all human. Nobody's perfect. But what we don't want to do is, we don't want to say, let's talk about racism. This ain't the time to talk about racism. This is the time to say, hey, young people, don't make the mistake that she made. She's holding herself accountable. She's holding herself responsible. Cool. You as young people, one, let's get you some help, somebody to talk to if you're going through some type of tragedy or whatever the case may be. Two, let's come up with a better option than using drugs or drinking. That's what this is about. This is about us encouraging our youth. This is about encouraging our athletes. It's about encouraging one another and saying, hey, there's a better way. That's what this is. This is not about let's talk about racism or change the narrative so that way the responsibility and accountability comes off of Miss Richardson. That's not what she's asking for. That's not what she's begging for. She said, hey, I ain't even, I messed up. I'll handle whatever the consequences is, and I'll be back out there. That's what I expect. That's strength. That's living in your truth. That's accepting accountability. That's not making excuses. That's black power. That's examples. That's an empowerment. You know what I'm saying? That's real. That's real. And I can accept that. I'm about to get up out of here, go grab something to eat. Ladies and gentlemen, y'all be safe, be humble, and please look at things fair and impartial. You know what I'm saying? Support the things that make sense, and the things that don't make sense, question those and ask for the details. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate everybody in the chat. I appreciate everybody for checking out Tough Love. For those people that don't know what Tough Love is about, it is not about bashing and burning and killing everybody and calling names. The tough situation is just us sitting down, being patient with one another, listening to one another. That's what the tough part about it is. Until next time, y'all are thought up. Peace.